Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Recovery Drive is back. My name is Adam Thursby, and joining me tonight is just a crew. We've got everybody here. Starting in the corner to this side of me, I guess, is Mr. Anderson joining us back again this week. Adam Willie is here, and we've got B-Fife back. Going to talk a little bit about Xbox as Season 6 just wrapped up. But that's not all. Brittany Lloyd Davis is back again this week via audio from way over in the old continent. And Mr. Philip Milwee, Whelp Cakes himself, joining Recovery Drive this week. So we got a lot to talk about. Retro in the chat says he's going to try and behave. The only good thing about him being here for Recovery Drive and not on race day is that he doesn't get to sit and chat and tell people to full send into T1 during Recovery Drive. That's a good thing. That's all he does on Sundays. So that's a lot of fun.
Well, he can type it.
He can type it, but no one's going to do it. So we're good. So let's get started, guys. Let's kick off. Let's get right to Indy, and let's talk about this last week's race, Indianapolis. I would say overall in both splits, better, right? Better than what we saw at Oulton Park, better than what we saw at the Nürburgring, but not 100%. So let's start with you, Anderson. How was your race this week, and how do you feel about how things turned out?
I mean, the beginning of it, I'm sure we're going to talk about it, was a little bit chaotic. But at the same time, it was a little bit of just hold the pace, and I went for a late pit stop for better tire. Did almost enough to catch Charlie Tooth in the end, but wasn't enough, sadly. So I will take the P2. But yeah, pretty good. Can't complain.
Now, the highlights we're watching right now are from the AM and Pro-Am race, so not as much drama there. There was some lap 1 shenanigans, but nobody got hung out in turn 1 or turn 2. It was actually a relatively calm start. We'll get to the pro and the silver highlights in a bit, because there was chaos in that first lap, and I was almost a little disappointed, right? Because we saw the chaos happen, and I think you escaped most of it, right?
Yes.
And then
Thankfully.
The other person who escaped most of it was TG, Tobias Gable.
No, he was the one that caused the well, sorry, I shouldn't say that.
But hold on. He went from like 5th to 2nd or 1st. He blew up front. So I don't know how. Phil, did I miss that? Was TG tied up in that stuff? I don't recall that. At least not the initial incident, is what I'm saying.
I was watching. I guess it was a tale of two races up to T1. Like everybody was like racing like one category of car, and Tobias Gable was in a rocket ship because he like split the middle of the field and was like scrapping with the front row right as they go into like T1. I think he held like 2nd place, if I remember correctly, for a little while.
Yep, for a while.
So, yeah, Audi, just everyone knows it's a rocket ship off the start, and the McLaren is literally the opposite. And we had all McLarens up front, so he just split down the middle and went from the 3rd row all the way to the front row by the time he got to T1.
He did. It was awesome. But the Am and Pro-Am race, I think, went really well. Obviously, some incidents this week, and we'll get to standings here in just a few minutes. But Adam, tell us a little bit. How about you? How'd your race go? How do you feel coming out of Indianapolis this week?
All right, I guess. So qualifying, I was looking good, and then Glendenning beat me, and I'm like, well, this just can't stand. So last lap, I got him by a 10th, if that. So started at the front of silver. Lap 1 was good. Lap 2 had a little nudge because one of the other McLarens started to lose it. And then I ended up having a stop and go 30.
Perfect.
Speeding in the pits. So that kind of screwed my race.
Okay.
Other than that, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I think this past week went good. Phil, Davis, what are your impressions? How do you feel about your race this week?
It wasn't too bad. I did have a bit of a coming together with Kisei quite early on in the race, which wasn't great. But after that, pitted and suddenly found a little bit of pace and had a wonderful fight with Comiskey towards the end of it. So, like, for a track that I've never driven before and one that I still absolutely hate, probably the best result I could have had.
Well, so, and you bring up a good point, right? Indianapolis is one of the tracks we drove this season. And I'd have to look at the schedule, but I'm pretty sure it's the only track from the U.S., the American track pack that we drove this season. We didn't do Watkins. Yeah, we didn't do Watkins. We didn't go do Coda this season.
Correct.
So how does everyone feel about Indy? Like, we always talk about tracks that have been around longer, the Monzas, the Imolas and such. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Well, it's the same thing here. Being the newer one, it's going to be one of those tracks that the most people have the least experience on. How did y'all feel about Indianapolis overall?
For me, it started out terribly practicing because, like we talked about, I just didn't have any experience going into it. But after like the second day of practicing, I started to see it, and I ended up kind of enjoying it after a while. It was a weird phenomenon that happened. It's still like funky in terms of the flow to me, but once you kind of get it, it starts to kind of make sense.
Okay.
It's just an unnatural feeling, but once you get it, you get it.
Gotcha. Adam, how about you?
I enjoy it. I do. Even though I haven't raced a whole lot of Indy, the only sector that I think I really struggle with is Sector 3. Okay. And that's just the last few turns. Other than that, I enjoyed it. Didn't care for it in the dark.
I was going to say, how did the night race treat everybody? Did nobody like the night racing?
I liked it, yeah.
It was good. I didn't mind it.
Well, that's good. Fife, what about you? I mean, obviously you're here representing the Xbox League right now, and you're going to be moving to PC for the next season. But you guys have, I mean, Xbox got, Xbox consoles and PS5s all got the US track pack. Have you guys run Indy as a league? And if not, just driving it by yourself, have you been enjoying it, or how's that working out?
Indy was the one US track we did not do this season. We did Coda and Watkins.
Okay.
Not the biggest fan of Indy, so I was completely fine with that. But yeah, Coda was actually our last race of the season, and I gotta say, everyone did really well with the track limits. I think we only had like 2 drive-throughs.
Oh wow!
Which the first time doing that in a main season was pretty impressive. Clean turn 1, everything like that. So it was good to see.
Excellent. Phil, how about you? What do you think about Indy? Have you taken time to drive it? You're usually, you're sitting in the booth with me, but have you taken time to drive around it yet?
Yeah. It's a good track. I think probably the most fun I've had at Indianapolis. We did the shorter version of the relay race with Trackalicious.
Okay.
Where we did 4 races that were 30 minutes chain back to back to back.
Yeah. Yep.
And it was in the wet. And I was in the V12 Aston, and it was actually a lot of fun. Did really well in that race. It was I like the track. I like more kind of old school road circuits. I think tracks that have like large runoff areas and stuff like that, it just leaves people. There's not a lot of punishment for taking like pushing too far over the limits.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I'm a big fan of tracks like Indy, and plus also the sections with like the oval and stuff like that. It's just a nice touch.
Yeah, Indy doesn't have a huge oval section in it though, does it?
It doesn't. But the
like
thing
Daytona,
that
because Daytona's got a pretty good wrap on the oval when you're talking about the road circuit, but Indy not as much.
It is fun. It is fun though in specifically in the wet. Going onto the oval section, like driving those parts of the track, especially because there's a lot of areas in Indianapolis where it gets like water will pool up if there's a lot of rain on track.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I've always had fun with it, and I like watching it because again, like we said during the stream, and I think Anderson mentioned this, was that because people really don't have a rhythm or a flow because this track doesn't get used that often. It's very interesting watching people battle because everybody's kind of got their own interpretation of what the fastest line through a corner is.
Okay.
So it's not you don't end up with like a lot of situations where there's just like it's very processional through some of the corners and stuff like that. But that's my take.
Rock on. Very good. Well, guys, like I said, Indianapolis is behind us. Let's get over and talk a little bit about standings right now.
was watching
second.
myself
Real-
race, though.
I know you were
Real
watching
quick
yourself
before we do
race.
that, we do that though. Kind of a takeaway from Indy that I kind of wanted to talk to Mr. Anderson about is
Oh, I know where you're going already.
All right, let's hear it.
I
I
just
know where
gotta
you're going.
I just gotta wonder, like, what was the extra 3 seconds in the pit stop?
I honestly, I watched back the stream because I was just curious to see what happened around me, and I heard you guys talk about that, and I watched it back. I don't know where this 3 seconds that you guys are talking about is. I don't know if it's because I took the entry clean. Didn't get moved back. I didn't miss the pit stop. I went straight up and dropped and
Listen.
went. I don't know.
Listen, Anderson, before you go any further, I'm going to tell you this. You're answering the question from the man of statistics.
I know.
I know. So if he
that's what I'm
tells you
saying,
there
like,
was
I
3
watched
seconds, there's 3 seconds in there somewhere. I'm telling you
I
right
don't
now.
know. I will gladly send Phil my replay, and he can dissect it and tell me where it is.
Didn't you enter slowly, like slower than what you wanted?
No, but it counts. It counts the once you're in it.
Once you cross
from
the
line
line.
to line.
Yeah. Like I don't know where that is. Like I don't know where the 3 seconds is.
Because I mean,
So-
you finished 8/10, at least from what from what Pitwall is showing. It shows you 8/10 back from Charlie Booth, and you lost 3 seconds compared to him in the pits. And I'm just like thinking to myself, I'm like, what happened here?
If I magically had those 3 seconds, I would have won because I think I finished 1.2 seconds behind Booth at the end.
Yeah.
Well, and Phil, you bring up the pit stop thing. We talked about it, a little bit. The last race you and I worked together, and now this one at Indianapolis. A lot of these races recently, and this shows, I think, the quality and the consistency of the drivers at Box 3 is a lot of these races this season came down to the pit stop. Who hit the box? Who got stopped? Who got it done quicker? Who didn't take it? If there was no damage, obviously damage changes that equation. But if it was just a straight tires and fuel, it was all about how fast they got in, how fast they got out. And the races were, a couple races this season came down to that pit stop. It was amazing.
So question for the guys who race in this. Is it fixed fueling in terms of time?
No.
Maybe that's what it is. Do you think it could have been that?
No, I put in less than because I had 30 seconds for tire change. Like you have to do a tire change. So it's not like I went over it all. Plus I did have damage, but I didn't repair it. So it was a flat 30 seconds still. So I don't know.
Retro Coffin in the chat says his name is now Andy 3 Seconds Anderson.
Oh,
that's rough.
Huffman calling you out for missing the box.
I did not miss the box. I remember when I was in there, I was like, I knew I was only 4 seconds when I saw Charlie go in. I was like, all right, I'm 4 seconds behind him. I was like, I got to hit this pit box because that way, if he messes up like 3 seconds, I can be right behind him. Mm-hmm. And then once I pulled in there and I went straight, I was like, yes, like I got straight up box. Let's go. Like I remember celebrating it.
Oh, wow. My goodness. Anthony 3 Seconds Anderson. There it is. Let's talk about standings a little bit before we jump over to the Xbox guys, because I do want to get Fife looped in here. I want to talk about season 6. Let's run through the AM class standings coming into the last race of the season, Bathurst, which we are definitely going to talk about tonight. Jester Flume, Steven Music, Kenny O'Connor, Jace Wright, and Bruce Hopkins. But I want everybody to look at the top 5 on their screen right now. There's 8 points between 1 and 2, and Bathurst is a double point race. And not only that, but Kenny O'Connor and Jace Wright, 3 and 4, there's 3 points separating those guys. So even if we take and go down a little further and we talk about Bruce Hopkins and Frank Reynolds, those guys only have 6 points between them. This has been a season in the AM class. This is a toss-up for anybody in this top 5 or 6 with double points on the line coming into Bathurst. Now, we'll see how many show up, because apparently the new title for the Bathurst race is, I don't like the mountain and I'm going to run away. That's the finale for this season for a lot of people. So AM class looking good, though. Just to run out the rest, Terrell Saints Taylor, John Rulin, and Kirk McDaniels still running. Chikuba is still in the running. For a couple DNSs in there and a 10-point loss. Currently sitting in 10th, but the rest now disqualified for the end of that AM class season. Pro-Am standings. Justin Seckham continues to dominate the Pro-Am standings, taking P1 this past week at Indianapolis, 271 points. Gian Cardoso not too far back. I mean, there's a good gap there, but has an opportunity if Justin's unable to run or if the Mountain wins. Gian Cardoso could see himself finishing this season in Pro-Am as P1. Steven Tomazik right there, 245 points. Again, the points very tight as we go back off the podium down to Josie Austin, Edward Walsh, all in contention for this. So this last race is going to be huge for this season, the way the drivers have run. Let's go down. I want to check something real quick. Okay, let's go to silver because I want to talk about Mr. Adam Willey here. We're going to see where he's standing. Timothy Glendening kind of running away here. That's a lot of points. Very consistent silver driver for this season. He does. And he's done a really good job of it throughout the whole season. A surprise for me, I'll be honest, mainly because these two guys, and Nikolai Tsiabuk has been around the league longer, but now Kornikov, and I think these guys run together. They're running the same livery. I think they're, teammates and such. Kornikov and Tsiabuk. Look at Tsiabuk up there, 11th, a 12th place finish. He's never he's only finished one podium, and is sitting in third. How does that happen?
Consistency, man.
Show up to races.
Show up. Yeah, that's the answer I was looking for. Is show up, right? So Nikolai Tsiabuk, Igor Kornikov on the podium right now. Rob Kiesar having a great season in silver, though. Rob, I'm a Rob booster. Rob does really well. He's consistent. He shows up every week. He drives a Porsche, but I won't hold that against him. He's only 3 points back from Tsiabuk. So, and 2 points back. Davis, let's talk about you. You're only 2 points back in fifth from Kiesar, but you've got Mike Burkhoff right there and Matt Comiskey. The point standings are so tight in silver. It's literally show up. You could be the slowest. I have a feeling you could be the slowest silver driver this coming Sunday at Bathurst, and you could end up on the podium. You're not going to catch Glendening at this point, I don't think, but you could end up on the podium if you don't hit a wall and you just chill out, right? Am I wrong about that?
No, I'd say you're absolutely right. Like, I think it's all well and good being fast at Bathurst, but if you haven't got the consistency, especially over a 90-minute race, then you're not going to be finishing very well at all. And yeah, I think anybody I'd say anybody in the top maybe 6 or 7, aside from Glendening, he's run away from it now. Any of us really have a chance of getting second, let alone third in the standings.
Absolutely. And you talk about showing up to, we talked about showing up to races. Brandon Walrath dropping 2 races this season. Gasolina, and I know he was traveling for, I believe, work, dropping 3 races this season. But 2 first place finishes. Same for Walrath, right? 2 first place finishes. This is a very different This is a very different standings listing if these guys were showing up for races, right?
Absolutely.
So, Willie, how are you feeling on? Yeah, how are you feeling on your season, Willie? So, where are you landing, Willie? Are you going to get into the top 10?
Oh, absolutely.
We shooting for top 10.
Top 10.
Okay. All right.
That's at the beginning of the season. I wanted top 10. I'm getting there.
Okay. So you got to beat Gasolina, and I don't know if Gaz is showing up for Bathurst or not. Right?
Gaz has already said that he will not be there.
Oh well, all you got to do is finish the race, and you get ahead of Gaz.
So,
it's kind of a dirty way to do it, but if you're happy with it, then I'm not going to hold you back.
Top 10's top 10.
Top 10's top 10. That's right. We'll take it. Let's get over to GT3 Pros and take a look at the standings. Jake Wells. Yeah. So again, this is another situation where this race, this Sunday, belongs to anybody, or I should say this season belongs to any of these top 3 guys, including you, Anderson. There's 8 points separating the top 3 drivers.
And all McLarens, mind you.
All McLarens.
Yeah. That is kind of the shocker for me. The fact that it was the McLaren and the M4 were so strongly represented this season, kind of surprised me. I'm not gonna lie.
So Anderson, what's the play for Sunday? What's the play at Bathurst? What's your strategy?
Don't hit a wall and hope that Charlie Booth messes up, because that's his home track, and I can't catch that man's pace right now. He's putting up some times that I've seen that are gonna be tough to beat.
So is it the same for Wells? Right? Is it the same strategy for Wells? Is just hope that do your best to be consistent, and then hope that Charlie Booth bangs himself into something?
Wells and I are about the same pace right now.
Okay.
Just going off of practice runs. We talk to each other about each other's practice runs, so I know he's right around my pace. So I think we're going to be fighting. Charlie is probably going to be up ahead. Hoping that he maybe sees some traffic and bumps a wall along the way, trying to get by some traffic.
Just hoping a back marker finishes the job for you. Is that what you're hoping?
Pretty much. But yeah, I think it's either way. Like, even if I do finish P2 or P3, this has been a great season. I was hoping to get a genuine win. I still potentially can, but we'll see.
Well, you did have a first place. Round 2, you had a first place finish.
Okay. I know that's there. I don't count that as a technical win though, because I got that off of a penalty.
Oh.
So I want to be the one to cross first. That's
so you're
my
saying
goal.
You're saying you want to do it the right way versus Willie over here, who says
I'll
take him. I'll take him not showing up to get me into the top 10. Okay, all right, that makes sense. I get you.
What can I say?
Win's a win though, but you got to admit, win's a win. If we look a little further back though, Tom Foose, Tobias Gable, Jarrett, those two running right now. It's going to be curious to see who tosses up and becomes, takes up P4 between the two, and they're only separated by 10 points. Jarrett Skinner running in 6th, Paul Morris in 7th right now. Alejandro Aguilar disqualified. Wyardi Rumbouts. See if they show if Wyardi shows up in the Honda this week. Rocky Rocco in P10, and we've lost a bunch of drivers here in the Pro Series here towards the end who have just not decided to show up for the rest of the season. So a little unfortunate, but people going to do what people going to do, right? Now let's jump over, and my screen's going all wonky here for a second. We're going to jump over. Fife, I want to get you involved here, buddy, and let's have a conversation. You guys just finished season 6 on the Xbox side, right?
Yes, sir.
So overall, how do you feel the season went? Like, I feel our Xbox League runs pretty strong, right?
Yeah, it's pretty consistent. I think the last race we had a little bit of lower attendance than usual, maybe because it was CODA and that track pack just came out on Xbox. So kind of end of the season, plus a few people didn't have the track pack. But yeah, we always are pretty consistent with attendance throughout the season.
Yeah.
Console naturally has a lower player count, but it's nice to have 20-something drivers in the field.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know that right now at Box3 that's true all the time, right? I think you guys, I would say the Xbox side of our league pulls more consistent numbers. As you said, they were down a little bit for this last race. But when I see the results come in, and when I take a look at things and see the number of people that are active in that section of the Discord and things of that nature, I mean, you've done great bringing these guys together and getting them racing. And again, 7 rounds, Q-Bar taking the championship this season in season 6 of Xbox. So let me ask you, Fife, because everybody knows you're the runner. Not you don't just manage the league, but you also kind of lead the pack over on Xbox. How did Q-Bar get you this season?
If you look at round 3, I didn't make it. I was at the 24 Hours of Daytona, so that probably had something to do with it. But no, the races we had together, he was really, really quick in the Porsche, and honestly, half the time I would beat him in it was just because of the straight line speed that being in that car.
Okay.
Because I used the new Audi this season, and that car just speaks to me on another level. I don't know what it is. It just handles exactly how I want a car to handle.
Now, what did you main before? Because you weren't an Audi driver last season.
I change car every season.
Okay.
To try to switch it up. So last season, I want to say I did either a Porsche last season or a McLaren last season.
think I remember
can't
you in
even
the
remember.
Porsche more than anything, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But could be wrong. Kipster still running the Audi though, and finishing in third on the Xbox League, and you coming out just squeaking it out ahead of him, 4 points to keep Kipster at a second. So a lot of these guys.
He had a little bit of a rough
Mhm.
start at the beginning, but you can tell toward the end,
Now-
third places right at the end. So
Now he was an Audi Evo 1 driver from my days on console racing with him. Do you think those low start, that rough start, is that because the Audi was so new, the Evo 2 was so new to him? Possible?
it's possible. Yeah, it's possible.
Okay.
And also it's just, incidents, things like that. Some things are out of your control too.
Absolutely. So very good. Forzy taking up P4, Bulldozer P5, Blue Wolf, Tough Squirrel, JB Racer, Legends, and Adalsa finish out the top 10 on the Xbox side. But as you can see, I know, you see a lot of these, and we get down to where people weren't showing up for races, but the fact that you can pull 32 signups for a console league, that's impressive. I think we do a good job with that. I think Fife, that's credit to you, not to anybody else. And you will be. So let me ask you this: your PC is not here yet, right? You haven't built it or anything.
All the parts are here. It's
Okay.
being built on this Saturday.
Okay, so you're gonna build the PC. So you're gonna have to come back maybe. Well, I don't know if next Thursday's enough time. I'm sure for you it will be enough time. You're gonna be excited to be on PC. I'm curious. Next week we're gonna have to talk to you about the difference in coming from the console, where you've raced right up till the end of the season, and then moving to PC and the differences you see. Do you think your ability to win races on console is going to transfer?
I'm hoping track knowledge and all that carries over. It's just going to depend on how different the force feedback is. From people I've talked to on Thrustmaster, going from console to PC isn't crazy difference, but Fanatec is apparently a lot more of a difference. The Xbox Fanatec wheels kind of lack feedback on ACC specifically. Other games they work fine.
Has anybody else here besides myself come from console to PC? What is that noise?
That's some eh.
Did you? So did you race on console?
I did on controller.
That's not what we're talking
Oh,
about.
that
That doesn't count.
Hold on. Give me a second. All right. And then when I got my PC, I got my old trusty.
Okay.
Which me and B5 have the same old trusty because I can't think of the name of it.
So I'm saying, I'm not saying people who race on controller don't count. What I'm saying is you can't make the comparison from racing on console on controller to then racing on PC on a wheel. Right.
Nice save.
It's a lot better.
No,
I can say that.
Listen, I'll tell you this, Davis. I don't fault anybody who can race on controller, because these guys are like JB Racer. I don't know. Does JB still race on controller 5? And that cat's
he's still controller.
And that
he's
cat's
very
speedy.
quick.
Yeah, he's speedy. So I don't fault anybody who races on a controller at all.
I know.
Yeah, not even a little bit. So,
a good person to ask. He's Steven Music on PC, but is actually Blue Wolf on Xbox. He's been racing in PC and Xbox simultaneously.
Really?
This past season.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
So that's actually that's the perfect person to ask. I don't know if he's in the chat.
And Blue Wolf coming in 6th in the Xbox season. So, and that's the other thing. Maddie is in the chat. Matt's been of great help on the Xbox side. Life, you and I have some things to fix here before we kick off the next season. I think I figured a way to square this up. We're just going to have to get on a voice call. We're going to fix it so that we can get everybody in without access to my Microsoft account, because that's crazy. But yeah, it amazes me, the people, because I even said the same thing. When I got my PC, I said, yeah, I'll move back and forth, right? I'll race on both. The force feedback difference between Xbox and PC, I'm sure PS5 is the same way, right? We don't have a PS5 league, but I'm sure it's the same. It's such a huge difference. I can tell you, Red Rider will tell you the same thing, because he tried to do the same. You cannot, you race on one, you get just enough used to it to do relatively well. And then when you move to the other, it's like learning how to drive all over again. It's crazy. Yep. So it's gonna be difficult for anybody, but good on Wolf and for being able to drive both, even if he's using controller. Because again, I've known some very spry controller fellas that can really drive quickly. So good for him.
I will say this: I did join B5 in one of their practice sessions on a Friday, and I was using my wheel, and to me, unless I'm just a dummy, didn't feel that much different.
But again, what
Yeah,
do
well, and
you?
a lot of that too.
Mhm.
We've gotten the 1.8 physics update, which
Mm-hmm.
I think probably helps bridge that gap too.
Okay.
Okay.
Because a lot of people that moved to PC from Xbox moved when Xbox was on 1.7, and so they upped the force feedback or, on console. So they've done. It feels better. It feels as best or as good as it ever has. And honestly, it's like I'm glad to be moving to PC, but at the same time, it's not as like urgent for me to do that as it used to be.
Okay. That's good though that they're continuing to develop that and push it. So hopefully our Xbox. I'm sure you have plans. What are your plans for season 7, Fife? I know we do have one upcoming event for Xbox. Let me find it here. Where are we going? There we go. The Shamrock Sprint coming up for Xbox on March 11th. 60-minute race, 1 mandatory fuel stop, and special event rules. All cars must have green as the primary color because we are going St. Patrick's Day over on the Xbox League. But what are your plans for season 7 on Xbox? What are you looking at? Anything different? Different qual, different format, anything like that?
We're looking into it. Me, Max, and Maddie are looking into it, and we'll probably do. I used to do a poll after each season and kind of ask some questions on what people like to see, what they'd like to change, things like that. So we'll probably do that again. We've thought about pit windows, points for fastest laps in the race, things like that. So
Okay.
we're still in the brainstorming stage.
Excellent. That sounds good though, and I know we'll be back strong on Xbox. Moving back to the PC side, I cannot wait. Phil, I'm going to talk to you first. Sunday is Bathurst.
Yeah.
And as I said earlier, it's the race. Nobody wants to drive because they're scared of the mountain and they're going to stay home. I've seen a lot of posts on the Discord of people just saying, I'm not racing this week. I'm not racing. And some are legitimate. They have to be somewhere. I get that. It's just fun to make fun of people. So what are we going to see? Phil, what are you looking for at Bathurst as you and I are sitting above and judging everyone on Sunday?
I mean, the key thing about Bathurst is going to be not spending too much time in the pits. That's got to be what it's all about. I mean, that's what it is in every endurance race at Bathurst. It's what it is in every sprint race at Bathurst. It's just so easy for you to put a foot wrong and end up in the wall. Given the breakdown of the cars that we have across the different splits, man, like I kind of want to see Jake kind of like bounce back and especially bring the fight to Charlie and Anderson. But man, mid-engine cars are going to be tough on the mountain. I think the M4 will probably be a little bit stronger, but
so are we
we'll
seeing
see.
Are we maybe seeing Tom Foose take this one?
Yeah, I think Tom will be a little bit more competitive. I think so.
All right.
And here's the thing: we were talking about this during the standings bit. Like, if things really go pear-shaped for the top 3, Tom Foose is not out of it, nor is Tobias Gable. With double points. I mean, if
points
they
on the line, yeah.
If one or more of them come like towards the very back of pro, could be interesting.
Absolutely.
So don't mess up Anderson.
No pressure.
No pressure. Anderson, what do you? So actually, you know what, Phil? Let me hold on. Let me stay with you for a minute, and we'll get. And guys that are racing this weekend, Anderson, Willie, Davis. I'm going to ask you the same question. Is it better in this race to take a second off your average lap? Say, so let's say you can run Bathurst at a fast 2:03. Okay, I'm just giving a round number out here. A fast 2:03, so in the top half of the second. Is it better for race pace to cut yourself back to a slow 2:03, maybe a fast 2:04, if it means you never touch the wall? What do you think, Phil? Is that something you would look at?
Nah, for me, it's all relative to the car in front that I'm chasing because I'm slow, so I'm never leading a race. But
okay,
whatever car I'm chasing, it's like trying to maintain pace relative to them, and then really trying to figure out like where can you apply pressure
Mhm.
and try and force a mistake?
Okay.
Because it's very hard to pass, especially once you get into the mountain section. But it is good to set someone up with a dummy, like maybe into Skyline or into maybe into Forest Elbow, into the chase. Just try to see if you can force a mistake out of them. But yeah, I think it's all relative pace to who you're chasing.
Okay. All right, Anderson, what do you I mean, obviously your hope this weekend is to win, right? And survive. But more than that, what's your goal in regards to how you're going to what's your plan and your goal on how you intend on driving Bathurst? Knowing double points, knowing it's the mountain and the mountain wins a lot of times. Where are you looking ahead?
Well, I mean, to kind of address your original question, I think it depends on what is it? Like the people around you. I know Whelpcakes was kind of getting at this. Just basing off of your competitors' times that they're doing, realize where you can kind of take a step back to really focus on just the technique and making sure you stay clean rather than having to try and hot lap every single lap. It's all relative to what's going on around you and understanding where all the other cars are on track, especially when it comes to pit stops and managing traffic and everything like that. I think there's a lot at play when it comes to that. As for goal, like I said, it's just to stay clean. That's going to be priority number one. Going to be doing my best at that, especially with lap one. Pro tends to get a little antsy up front. So it's just a matter of staying clean as best as possible. And then once everyone kind of gets in that rhythm, I feel like I'll be set to keep it out of the wall. It's just doing my best to keep up with Charlie. I think he's going to be the man to beat, and I think like you guys were talking about, Tom Foose is probably going to be a competitor here. The front engines definitely have a good time on the mountain compared to us mid-engine guys. So it's going to be interesting to see how this shakes up.
Okay, one other question before I move on to Mr. Willie. What sector are you most fearful of?
The downhill. Everything else I'm okay with. Going up the mountain, I feel like I've got a really good rhythm on, and I can keep it out of the wall without really thinking about it. And the same thing with Sector 3. The only part that's a little tricky is the downhill. The McLaren definitely wants to try and lock the brakes a lot on the downhill, at least for me. So that's something that I'm working on perfecting, especially coming up to race day and through all the practice that I'm trying to do. So that's the real area that I'm working on. Awesome.
All right, Willie, how about you, sir? What are you looking to accomplish at this race, and what part of what sector just absolutely scares the living bejesus out of you?
Well, I'm hoping for a top 10. Hoping. I'm probably going to put it into every wall I can. No, honestly, I'm still worried about it because as of right now, I've only put 0.8 hours onto the track and not a lot of time to practice in.
All right.
I'd say I fear the entire mountain. Everything that isn't straight, I fear.
Okay.
Currently, no.
At least he's honest.
Yeah, I'm scared the whole time, and I just hope I can make it.
No, honestly, Anderson has been helping me out some, and the uphill is better, is a lot better.
Okay.
The downhill is getting there. The downhill is probably my most feared as well.
Now, obviously, I don't drive as fast as you guys, but I have to say, anytime I've driven Bathurst, as long as I get a good drop into the downhill, right? That initial break point and drop under the, when you first hit to start that section, I feel it for myself. As long as that starts okay, the rest of the downhill is good. Would you agree with that?
I differ from that completely.
Okay.
My going over the crest for me, I feel like I get every single time. It's the last breaking point before the hairpin at the bottom. That's where the car really at least for the McLaren, it really wants to try and lock up on you. Like you can hear it
Gotcha.
skidding a little bit when you put the brakes on, and that's where it gets a little sketchy.
Okay.
So
you
I
should
don't
have saw
know
what
if
I did.
yeah, Willie has that same problem. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Was that your clip, the wall roll? Was that no?
No, that was not mine. That
Okay.
was who was that?
I saw somebody's clip where they just
BMW.
drove the car down the wall.
Oh, that was O'Connor.
Oh, was it O'Connor? Okay.
Yeah.
Really hoping that doesn't happen on Sunday. That'll be curious to see if it does.
Hey, if he can get a pass out of it, it'd be great.
Yeah, this is not NASCAR, sir.
No.
Davis, you just spoke up there. What about you? What's your overarching goal for this race, and what do you most fear going into it? What sector are you most afraid of?
So the overarching goal for this is consistency, because that's what's put me in good stead throughout the whole season. Really, it's just trying to stay out of incidents and just put good, solid laps in, and try to stay out of the wall. The downhill doesn't scare me too much, aside from after the crest. It's the first set of corners. The Lambo doesn't like weight transfer very much, so it tends to either understeer or oversteer unless I get that line correct, and it can be a bit dodgy. But honestly, I fear the uphill more because because the Lambo is an understeering thing. Can't be polite here. It's difficult to get just right, just to get past the wall and not plant it in the wall. It's difficult, but Gaz has given me a good setup, so I think I've got to fare better than most mid-engine cars on the hill.
Oh, speaking confidence, I like it.
Excellent. Here we go. This is going to be awesome. I can't wait for Sunday.
Especially driving the Lambo. Confidence in the Lambo at Bathurst.
He's a brave
God
man.
bless.
On a controller, no less.
On a controller, no less. I mean, there we
mean-
go. Davis is one of those controller guys, so tells you. Here we go.
That's a small strait of terror right there.
So one last question for you guys that are racing Bathurst this weekend. One pit stop or two?
One. Has to be one.
It's a 90-minute race. 90-minute race, right? So you're looking at what, 45 minutes, because there's no window for this. As far as I know, there will be no pit window. So you're looking at one stop, 45 in, about halfway.
Yep.
Okay.
That's what I would probably do.
Okay. Yeah. All right. What about you, Davis?
Two stop, if I can keep it out of the wall, just because the Lambo doesn't like carrying too much weight. So the less fuel weight I have, the better.
All right. Very good. So
Yeah, you really don't lose too much time in the pit lane at Bathurst. Like, it's a pretty short entrance and very short exit.
Yeah, it is a short short pit lane. So that's a good thing.
I just think it's cost benefit. Like, you gotta see if it's the time that you gain outweighs, the time that you lose in the pit. So you could do some calculations and see if it works. I haven't tried it, but I wouldn't imagine that you would make up enough time. I don't know.
Gotcha. Phil, what
It's
say
also,
you?
Sorry.
Oh,
go on.
one stop.
One stop? Okay.
One stop. If you can keep it out of the wall, the winning strategy is going to be one stop. Anderson's probably on the money with the half and half strategy, just because you probably want to get your car set for kind of like how the weight is going to shift as you start to burn off fuel. Because if you do something weird where you do like an overfill and then an underfill on a second stint, you're going to be on a lighter car with newer tires, which will be nice. But yeah, I feel like trying to get the most balanced setup for both stints is going to be key in keeping it out of the wall.
Gotcha. Davis, what were you going to say?
Oh no, I was just going to say that it's also to do with the confidence in the car as well. Maybe sort of towards the end of your stints, maybe your tires are just too far gone, and you're going to struggle on the mountain. That's another reason why I went for a 2-stop. So I have more confidence in the car more of the time. Then.
Gotcha. Makes sense. All right. Well, everybody should prep for Bathurst. It is coming up this Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You will find it right here at the Box 3 Motorsports Twitch channel with myself and Mr. Philip Milwee covering that race. It's going to be a ton of fun. Phil, I think we're going to be busy. I do think we got 2 races. We got our AM and Pro Am, which is a 60-minute race, and then a 90-minute Pro and Silver race. We're going to be here for quite a while, and I think we're going to be busy.
Yeah, I think so. My body is prepared. It's fine.
Yep, we're ready. I'm doing about 6 hours of commentating on Saturday too, so it'll be interesting to see how well I do. I might have to lean on you, Phil.
All right,
just a little bit. All right, guys, let's move on. We are going on to the rig roast and review. This is my favorite part of each week, and we've got some fun ones. It's going to be fantastic. Jake Wells is first.
Let's look at can't wait for this.
So Moza R9 GS wheel, a G9 S1000 monitor, that's 49-inch ultra wide, which is the direction I'm going this month. In fact, I can't wait. Fanatec V3 pedals. Let's talk about Mr. Wells' setup here. I like the Lego Lamborghini on top of the PC. I like the ultra wide. Jake, you got to find somewhere you got to learn how to, dude. That cable. There's cables. Somebody else say it. There's cables everywhere. I'm gonna lose my mind. Yeah, I'm just losing my head. Brain aneurysm.
Oh man,
it's driving me crazy right now. There's wires everywhere, including right under the steering wheel. Like the wire for the keyboard is literally right under the steering wheel. I just see that. Like I see him hitting the wall at Bathurst, the wheel going nuts. That and the cable getting hooked around the wheel, and then just whipping that keyboard right into his head as it tightens the wire up. You know what I mean? Like it just seems like
I hate to say this, but that would be extremely funny.
It would be
at
hilarious.
First.
Well, if he's a smart man, he has the Moses setting where if things go haywire, it doesn't jerk the wheel.
Yeah,
there is a setting for that.
That's like. Well, you might. Why don't you just live your life in a bubble, Anderson? My goodness.
Hey! I'm just saying because Jake and I are fellow Moza gang, so we have the same equipment.
Now. Jake did say that the keyboard sits by the PC while he races. Yeah,
that doesn't excuse all the cabling on the floor. It doesn't.
No,
it doesn't. No. You can fix one cable. That doesn't fix the other 30. Jake,
I'm proud. Jeez,
why is his monitor upside down? That's what I want to know.
Is it? Oh, yeah. It is.
Wait, what's upside down?
The monitor.
It shrinks the bezel. The bezel's smaller on the bottom.
And we are joined by Mr. Kevin Huffman, who snuck in here, finally unmuted himself.
He's been in here for a while.
He's been in here a while, but he was muted the whole time, so I wasn't. So it shrinks. So you're saying there's a smaller bezel at the top of the monitor, so he flipped it upside down.
That's usually
the brand is on the top of the monitor as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, curious. I like the PC. The PC looks very clean sitting over there. The cable management under the desk, Jake, you gotta.
I'll get it sorted.
You gotta get on it, buddy.
He definitely shouldn't be using his ultra wide for Discord.
That's probably
like you don't need it that. You don't need that. Nobody's gonna write something long enough for
Depends
that.
on what kind of Discord servers he's in, I guess. For him, maybe he
touche.
does need that space. I don't know. That's up to him. I'm not gonna judge anybody. All right,
we all know what he doesn't like. We all know.
Let's move on here. Alex Martin is next. Logitech G29 and GT Omega wheel stand. The Moza SRP pedals. High performance kitchen chair with a performance boosting pillow. Listen, I take these descriptions right from what people put in the Rig Roast channel, so don't blame this on me. But he does have an MSI i7 3080 64 gigabyte of RAM laptop sitting there. So what do we? My favorite part is well, my favorite part is he left all the weeb stuff out for this picture. He's like, I don't care. Here's my hentai DVDs. Here's my weeb stickers. Here's my weeb mouse pad. I'm good with this. I'm gonna own this shit.
Look at the mouse pad.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I said. He left it all out. It's all over.
Oh.
The whole picture is covered with it.
I want to know.
He had to. He did that on purpose.
He
I want
had
to
have
know
done it on purpose.
is the kitchen chair like glued to the floor? I mean, the Moza pedals are supposed to support like what 75 kilograms of pressure.
Well, those are
In a kitchen chair?
CRPs. Those are the
Okay.
CRPs.
Okay.
Which I have those, but
Yeah.
the SRPs are a little lighter, from my understanding.
Okay. Well,
Oh
all
my
I know
God.
is that if you're dealing with something that's got like a load cell attached to it, and you're doing the kitchen chair routine, I don't know how that works.
I'm looking
How-
for the
at
waifu
all.
body pillow. Is what I'm looking for.
Oh, that's behind the camera.
I'm pretty sure it's hiding behind the curtain in the shot.
Possibly, yeah. He stuck it back there.
It's standing to the right of the TV. It's giving him encouragement as he races. I think.
That's perfect. But I take these descriptions directly from the Rig Roast channel. This is a high performance kitchen chair and a performance boosting pillow. I don't know what kind of performance boost he gets. It's obviously from the 1970s, but that's all right. If the DeLorean can show up and support him, I am all for it.
Well,
Alex Martin.
Have overdrive.
The performance boosting pillow just makes his ass not hurt for as long.
Yeah.
Excuse my
I
language.
can see that.
I just
can
had
see
to
that.
drop one in there.
But
That's not that bad.
and I will
We'll let
say
it
to
go.
everyone who
Yeah.
told me, don't buy a gaming laptop for racing because that's dumb. Well, it's obviously working out for Alex quite well. So
Yeah.
maybe I
And
will
he
still go
does
that direction.
iRacing.
So I may still go that direction.
Well, that can run on a PlayStation 1, I think.
Oh
So-
my
Yeah.
God, here we go.
Here it comes.
Here it comes.
The iRacing roast.
The high racing. Yeah,
it is
now
a
we're gonna race.
12-year-old. It is a 12-year-old game, guys. Come on.
But it runs great and it's a lot of fun.
It is. It is. It's my preferred sim.
And I just found a way to
It's just
get.
a meme. I mean, I hate on it so much, but it's a good sim. You know what I mean? Like, it really is.
I found a way to get Richard Burns Rally running again today. So I'm gonna go do that soon.
Nice.
Yeah. A lot of mods and everything. It's gonna be fantastic. Let's move on to Charlie Booth. Now I can't figure this kid out. Here's the
God.
thing about this setup. If you came to me and said, I need you to describe for me the sim racing setup of a sheep farmer, this is exactly what I would describe. This is exactly what would come out of my mouth. The PC's probably just sitting on a random table, wheels just strapped to what it looks like a relatively thin piece of wood that I'm not sure how it's held up this long. Probably using a TV for a monitor. And this is, I mean,
Whoa. What's wrong with that?
this is exactly what I would expect. Yeah, but I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. What I'm saying is, like, it doesn't look at the monitor and then look at the TV.
Is
That's
that
what
a
I'm saying, like,
Is that a graphics card box that's holding up the monitor on the left?
Yeah, it looks like it's holding up
is.
the monitor on the
Yeah.
left. Yes.
I did not notice that. When you've
call,
run out of
good
desk
call.
space.
He's got his vitamin C
That's part of
plus
the
there
table.
next to the. It looks like to me vitamin C plus next to the PC, which is
Do
good.
they
my
say
God.
vitamins there?
Yeah, it's probably Vegemite. I'm surprised there isn't a jar of Vegemite sitting on the desk.
My God.
Yeah, poor Charlie. Poor
That's
Charlie.
I don't know if-
another top sim racer who's using Logitech hardware.
I'm saying it is not the hardware. I don't care.
I
Who
think
it's not the hardware.
that is what gets you to P2 in Pro, ladies and gentlemen.
Right?
I don't know if you guys noticed this, but the top two drivers in Pro also just have Xbox controllers just laying around.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but so do I because I play other games. So
Yeah.
like literally right here. So I
Yeah,
don't blame
I
you
got
for that.
no, mine's downstairs.
The wired headset kind of bothers me. I don't know how you have a wire dangling off your head while you're racing.
I do it.
Do you really? Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, you see it?
Yeah.
Well, no,
right here.
I have these. These are wired right now, but I have a pair of rigs when I'm sitting back there, just because the wire, I feel it. You know what I mean? It's just, I just feel the wire and it bothers me.
I do wired.
Well
and,
behind you.
I do wired, and they're also just in-ear monitors.
Okay,
Okay.
gotcha. Well, that is Charlie Booth. Now, guys, the last one we're going to cover tonight, there are actually several slides.
Oh,
because
okay.
no, not in a bad way. Not in a bad way. It's because
Well,
this person actually provided a lot of detail about their setup. They provided a lot of pictures. You know, this is literally what Charlie posted. This picture, no description, and just said underneath it just said bah. So it's that's not my fault. But the next one we're gonna cover provided a ton of description, provided a ton of detail, a ton of pictures. So we'll get to the pictures first, and then we'll get to the description here at the end. Retro Coffin, he's in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. You get to talk to him live tonight. The Porsche machine. So this is just the first image. Again, another another Samsung 49-inch ultra wide G9 monitor. We see the spare wheels over there in the corner.
I like the
including
master
Porsche
ball.
wheel. There you go. I do like that he's got 2 button boxes. I love that dashboard. I went and looked it up today. They are out of stock right now. I love that dashboard he's got with the flag. It looks really busy, but it also looks like it'd be easy to see and just grab the data you needed right away, right? So that is the first picture. Here we get down. He's got a
Also,
fan.
wire management.
We're gonna get there. We're not there yet. Hold
Okay,
on.
are we?
Don't worry.
Does he have
We're
a picture of
gonna
that?
get there. Yeah, we're gonna get there. He's got the fan. I'm curious about that fan placement because I'm pretty sure I know where that fan's blowing while he's racing, and I'm pretty sure he wears shorts while he's racing. That's all I'm saying.
He's a smart man. That's being
That's-
resourceful.
Well, if you're
Absolutely.
sweating that much during a race, there's something wrong with your pituitary gland. You should probably get that checked out. That's all I'm saying.
It's called the Porsche condition.
Yeah, you have to be scared. A little top-down view, the Porsche flag there in the background. Now, this cat has like something like 5 pairs of sim racing shoes, right?
Oh,
And I think 7 pairs of gloves. I'm going to allow
You know
that
what,
going
why?
for tactical.
I think he does
Why?
have a lot of gloves.
He does.
I
Well,
do
and we'll see them
recall
here
that.
in just a second. There they are. You can see the gloves lined up down there on the floor. So Retro is running with an i7 10700K, EVGA 3080 Ti, 32 gig of RAM, and again that Samsung G9 monitor, an ASR3 rig, CSL DD 8 Newton meter with the McLaren GT3 wheel. You saw the other wheels he's got. I'm going to pronounce this wrong, and TG's going to watch this after and yell at me. Hustengveld sprint pedals. 6-piece shifter.
Actually, not bad.
Hustengveld. 2 button boxes, a butt kicker Gamer Pro, and Sim Racing Addict flag gear and spotter. If you go look up that dashboard he's got, just do a search for Sim Racing Addict. Those are some fancy looking dashes. I use a 7-inch tablet for mine right now, but that looks really good. I like that, and I might have to go and look, but they are sold out at this point. So really, really nice. Yeah, really nice dashboard. I like this setup, but as Mr. Willie said, Retro, find you some cable management, man. All it takes, you spent money on 7 pair of gloves, but you couldn't buy 1 roll of Velcro off Amazon. Of Velcro tape off Amazon. I get it, man. Cable management's hard, but you gotta set that stuff up, man.
it's not that hard.
It's not. I have to redo mine. Mine's strapped to the side of the rig, but I want to do like Fife did. Fife said, he told me you can fit the wiring under the rig, so I want to move it underneath. So mine's wrapped up. It looks decent. It's not horrible, but I want to move it underneath so you can't see it at all. But some of these, God, the cable management ones, I don't know how these guys get in and out of their rig without just getting tangled up and ripping something out. Like USB cables are just ripping out of PCs all the time.
Because they're behind everything, Molson. That's why. Most of the time. I'm sorry. Most of the time.
Unless you're Jake and you just strap keyboard cables right across.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a seatbelt, all right?
It's a
seatbelt.
So that is the rig roast review for this week, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to those guys for posting their rigs to allow us to tear them apart a little bit. So before we close it out, do you guys have any last words on Bathurst? Fife, I actually want to hear from you first. You're not racing this Sunday. Again, still on Xbox, that season finishing out. But I want to hear from you right now. What are you hoping to watch on Sunday? Are you looking for the carnage? Are you looking for... And who's your pick? Who's your pick from the pro class that's going to win this?
I simultaneously want carnage and a great battle up front.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not too familiar with the classes on PC actually.
Well, we're going to go take a look. Pro class right now. We got Jake Wells in first, Charlie Booth, Anthony Anderson, Tom Foose, and Tobias Gable in the top 5. Who's your pick to win this race?
Who
Don't worry,
are
I
any of
won't be
those people in a
offended.
Porsche?
No, there are no. Why
Nope.
would there a Porsche? Why would a Porsche ever be in the top 5 of anything? No, there are no Porsches in the top 5.
You never know.
3 of them are McLarens.
3 McLarens, an M4, and an Audi Evo 2.
I'm gonna go Audi Evo 2.
There you go. Tobias Gable's winning this Sunday. You heard it right here first. TG's going to take it, according to Mr. Fife. So excellent. Any last words on this weekend or anything we've discussed tonight? Anderson, go ahead. You hit it.
Oh gosh, I was expecting a question, not being put on the spot. All right, overall, like I said, I'm just hoping to have a fun final race for the season. I've done really well with staying out of trouble. Hoping to keep it going and hopefully stick it to Jake and Charlie and try to get P1 overall. I think that's going to be my main goal. I've been wanting to do it since the beginning of the season, so we'll see how it goes.
Gotcha. And Willie, how about you?
I'm hoping everything goes good, but if I get in one more wreck this season, I will 100% drive the Ryder next season.
Here we go.
Oh my god.
So you're definitely driving the Ryder next season. This is that's the easiest to crash it.
Wow, got him just like that.
Hey,
Davis,
if I'm doing it, I'm bringing Paul with me though.
there you go. It's all right. Davis, how about you?
I'm just gonna try and keep it consistent. It's just the old adage: to finish first you must finish.
There you go.
I'm just gonna get the car across the line. Although that being said, in terms of cars for next season, I am very tempted to take the Nissan.
All right, good to go. Well, Phil, what about you? What are you hopeful for on Sunday? As I said, we look down on these guys in judgment for a couple hours.
I want to see Jake kind of bounce back. I'd love to see everyone in the top 5 really just like white knuckling the mountain for 90 minutes. I think that's going to be awesome if we can keep it clean all the way to the end, you know.
Yeah.
I'd just like to see a street fight. So
And I think I'm with you there. I think my biggest goal especially after the last couple races is to see clean racing and a shootout right to the end. I want to see a shootout right to the end. Not just for pro class, but for all of them. I want to see clean racing, and I want to see a shootout. I really want to see.
Yeah.
I want them to make you and I work on Sunday. Let's put it that way.
yeah, I just want to see like just don't wreck on Mountain Straight lap 1 the entire field, because you guys are way classier than that. You're better than SRO. Just keep it together. You guys will be fine. It'll be a great race.
Throw it into full send into T1. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Taking over for retro
Please
here. Let's see the top 5 within 1 second of each other. 100%.
It's
retro.
entirely possible.
It is
It's entirely possible.
With the way this has been going, I would 100% agree with that.
But the aero wash on the mountain with that, it's going to be nuts if they're
Kinda
all
scary.
within like a second of each other.
Oh my Lord. All right, well, gentlemen, to all of you racing this weekend, good luck. Thank you all for joining, Fife, you especially, giving us the Xbox updates. I want to appreciate you and everybody else that's here. Everybody in the chat that's been watching tonight, thank you all so much. What do you want, Huffman? This is my show. No, what's up, buddy?
No, seriously though, good luck everybody on Sunday. Hope Anderson does well. Honestly, the guy's put in a lot of work.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a great race. It's unfortunate. A couple little things held him up this season, but it is what it is. Stuff happens. I hope we keep it clean. I'm looking for him and Jake to really make it a battle, because I know Charlie's already really strong at this track. But the main thing I'm really coming in here for, though, we got season 6 coming up here pretty soon. I know Blue and Ando are already working on that. And I just want to give them a huge shout out and say thank you for running this season. I think they've done a fantastic job with my absence.
No,
Other than that, that's pretty much all I've got.
Much like Fife on the Xbox side, those Anderson and Blue have done a really great job. They run the drivers' meetings, they get the servers set up. You guys have really banged it, as Huff said. I don't know how easy it is for people to hear him, so I'll just repeat it. Shout out to you two for being able to put that together and keep it flowing forward, because I think Yeah, I'll be honest, if it weren't for folks like you, I don't know if season 5 would have been pulled off at all, right? I don't know.
Not wrong.
I don't know that Box 3 would still be running real hard as we are, because it takes a team. You can't just rely. We can't just sit it on one person and ask them to handle it all. So I will echo that for Huff, that I appreciate you guys putting in the time and the effort. It's excellent.
Thank you, and thank you, Huff, for the trust in that. It all starts with you, big guy.
It all
big
started
guy.
with me sleeping in during the driver's briefing. You guys picked up the broken pieces.
All right. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the Huff and Anderson make out show and get on to ready.
It's a bromance. It's okay.
It's a whole bromance thing.
It's sweet. It's really touching.
It is. I love it. It's no. Everybody. You know what? It's team effort. You guys put a lot in. Huff. I know Huff has worked with you guys to get it sounds weird to say it as a hobby, but trained up to be able to do it but it's not just a click of your fingers and the race goes, right? So, for the time he's put in to get you guys up to speed and the time you've put in to then continue that work and get the servers up and everything else. And there's been some hiccups throughout the season, but that's expected when you're just learning and just starting out doing something for the first time. I wouldn't hold that against anybody. So, it's been great. But anybody else have anything before we shut her down for the night?
No.
I thought I did, but I forgot.
Oh, there we go. It was silence until Willie spoke up.
Yep.
Thank you again, everyone, for joining us today. I appreciate it. We are back Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the finale of Season 6. Xbox returns on the... what day was that, Fife? I'm going to forget. It's the 11th. There we go. Shamrock Sprint for Xbox returns on March 11th, a one-off event waiting for the start of Season 7 of Xbox Racing at Box 3 Motorsports. So, guys, stick around. As I said, we're back Sunday. I can't wait. It's Bathurst, my favorite track. Phil and I will be here to give you all the blow-by-blow throughout the entire 2 class races on Sunday. Until then, everybody have yourselves a great week. Thank you so much for joining us. And this is Box 3 Motorsports. We will talk to you very soon.